Gee, and I just am killing time for the man. All right.
What's going on, JD?
I'm telling you, there's not a lot. Well, no, actually,
you know, it's funny. I was just noticing. We were live streaming. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're all over.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
And I was like, how come my audio levels on our stream aren't going from the board that you're running into the computer that we're using to stream this out? We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitter, we're all over today. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I didn't plug that in.
Yeah. And we've been sitting here solving America's problems for the past 20 minutes.
We've been just sitting here BSing the whole time. Happy Friday. Welcome to Wickett's World. My name is Mike Wickett. That is JD Justice. We, again, are streaming on my Facebook page. We're on on Twitter. We're on YouTube. We'll put it up on the ESPN Des Moines Facebook page as well. Happy to have you because today is going to be a very big day. Coming up, 4:45. I know if you follow me on social media, you saw that I put up something. There's going to be a big announcement at 4:15. The big announcement's actually going to come at 4:45. So if you want to stick around for that, it is pretty big news.
I know.
I would say, well, don't blow it.
What I just say it. I heard.
Don't blow it.
Well, I'm not going to blow it. I'm just telling you that it's for once. I feel
you're
like
in the know.
I'm in the know.
Yeah.
I was the last to know, but I was in the know.
People are already. Rob on our Facebook page gave me the old face palm. My buddy Brock, who is in Ohio, get your bleep together, Mike. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I failed. I did. Like we're not doing anything for like 20 minutes. So this could have been finally checked. Whatever. But we're good. We're good now. Big announcement coming up 4:45. Make sure you're around for it. We're going to talk some Masters. We'll talk some football as well, but it's been lots happened in the last 7 days since we were on air together.
This is the week that was, and the weekend that will be. This is Wickett's World on 1350 ESPN.
So it may seem like it was a while back, but the NCAA, it feels like the NCAA championship game, Baylor over Gonzaga, was like 2 weeks ago. Because today's Friday. That game was on Monday night. And
it was a yawner, in my opinion.
It was. It was a bad national championship game.
And Gonzaga just totally let me down. I mean, the whole tournament, I had them bounced out, early on or earlier. Mm-hmm. And then I'm thinking, oh, great, they're going to prove me wrong. They're going to get their doggone championship, and we can no longer say they're just a great tournament team.
What did I tell you? The two truths in sports. There are only two. One, don't bet against Tom Brady, and don't bet on Gonzaga. And Gonzaga proved me right again. And I picked against Brady in the Super Bowl. Remember, I thought the Chiefs were a lock because of Mahomes. Wrong again. But don't bet on Gonzaga. And it just looked like Gonzaga was still so exhausted from UCLA, who gave them everything that they had.
They sure did.
And what
that was a great game.
That was a great. I mean, that shot that kid hit on that Saturday night, banked it in from. By the way, 40 feet out.
The call that Timmy got, I thought, was a bad call.
Yeah.
But you can't go back on it either way. The game ended the way it was supposed to, and the championship went the way it was. Because, again, we haven't had a chance to talk even on that game since then.
Here's the point people are missing, I think, about Baylor. I think people looked at the NCAA field, too many people, and I might have been guilty of this as well, too many people looked at the NCAA tournament field as Gonzaga, big gap, Baylor, Illinois, Michigan, and then everybody else. Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
I feel like that's kind of where everybody felt Baylor was at, because Baylor didn't look great after they got done with their COVID situation. They missed like 5 weeks. They didn't look good against West Virginia. They didn't look good. They didn't win the Big 12 tournament. Texas won that. They didn't look good against Iowa State, a god-awful Iowa State team. And they roll in. They get the number 1 seed. Baylor was great all year. And the COVID, had that not hit, maybe they lose in the Big 12 at some point. I don't know. But Baylor was great all year. And people like me doubted them down the stretch and into the NCAA tournament. And you start watching them, and they're just so good. They didn't play the first 2 rounds. They didn't play particularly great for full games. I mean, they got Wisconsin hung with them in the second half in their round of 32 matchup. But man, Baylor, they hit threes, they play defense. It looked like there were 6 or 7 guys on the court in that first 9 minutes of the game.
I will say this: if Gonzaga plays that game that they played in the championship game against any other team in the tournament, I think they still pull that one out. I think Baylor was just on all cylinders.
Baylor
like
looked great.
you said. They look great.
Baylor looked great.
You can't have an off game. You can't against a team like that.
You just, I mean, unless Baylor was going to be the team that was 4 of 26 from 3,
Right.
you just can't have that. And, you know, I just think that we took Baylor for granted. Everybody outside of Waco and maybe the Big 12,
Yeah.
or outside of Waco and maybe just the state of Texas, took Baylor for granted and just expected, you know, Gonzaga to continue to roll. But, man, Baylor just gave them all kinds of trouble.
Yeah.
Good for Baylor.
I mean, I had Baylor out like 2 rounds earlier.
I had Baylor losing to Wisconsin.
Yeah, it was
Not a good call.
No. But then again,
not a good call.
I think everybody's brackets are like,
This is the first year, actually, I didn't light my bracket on fire. But I don't know. Like, I don't know how we did in the ESPN Des Moines basketball mayhem. I have no idea.
You and I did not finish in the top 3. I can tell you that.
Did we finish in the bottom 3?
I would say there's probably
There's
a better chance at that.
That sounds about right. Other stuff going on since we last spoke. Baseball season has begun. JD, how into baseball are you on April, what is the date today? April the 9th.
I would say, because I just looked at the standings and looked at the scores.
And
of
you're
my
twins.
favorite
You're a
team,
Twins guy.
They're 5-2.
Hey.
They're in first place. So, again, granted, it's April. They've started off before at like 10-4, and then ended up finishing in 3rd or 4th place.
It doesn't matter till the postseason for your Twins.
No,
until they can win a flippin' playoff game. One game. I don't even care about a series.
Just had to bring that up.
They've lost 15. Is it 15?
I think it's
18, 15?
It might be right around more than that.
18 straight playoff games.
It's horrible.
That's an anomaly.
They didn't even have to play the Yankees for once.
I know.
They play Houston. Houston, the cheater team. And Houston comes in and knocks them out right away at home.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Don't get me going.
The story, and I've always said that baseball season, and I root for the Brewers, and
They're great at fighting.
They're terrible at hitting. So I mean,
They got to hit something.
I've always said this, and I've seen people who are, you know, whatever your team is, there is no greater overreacting fan than April baseball fan on Twitter. Baseball doesn't matter until Memorial Day. Right. And by matter, I mean, it doesn't matter what you do in April. It doesn't matter what you do in the beginning of May. Once we get to Memorial Day, that's about 60 games. Mm-hmm. Once you get to Memorial Day, that's when everything levels out. That's when you know how bad the Orioles are going to be. That's when you know how good the Braves are going to be. That's when you know kind of. Now, things can happen. It's not a perfect system. But baseball doesn't really start to even out and give you true storylines until you get to Memorial Day, and then the next opportunity.
When is the trade deadline?
That's the next opportunity. Mm-hmm. Usually August, July.
Yeah. Right.
You know,
it used to be
Let me look that
by
up.
July 4th weekend. By July 4th weekend, you used to be able to tell who was going to win. This was years ago.
July 31st.
Yeah. By the end of July, you would always tell. By July 4th weekend or in and around there, you could always tell what team was going to win the division, things like that. But you can't anymore.
No, you got wild cards now.
Yeah.
You got wild cards now. You got Rocktober that happened with Colorado a while back. You got teams get hot. You know, it's crazy, and you have to make that decision. And teams are going to go all in for a pitcher or for a bat. I just don't get too worked up by anything when it comes to Major League Baseball in April. It's great. It's warm. It's wonderful to watch baseball. I've still got a lot of NBA in my system. I got the NFL draft coming up in a couple of weeks. Like, that gets much more of my focus than I know. Baseball fan hates hearing me say that.
No.
And I get it, because sometimes baseball fan can't stand college basketball, or baseball fans like, the NFL. I don't understand that, but still, I get it.
I'm a dual fan. That never comes out of my mouth.
Right?
I'm
So
a dual fan.
it's one of those where, as long as your team can stay healthy, and I think the biggest storyline in baseball so far to this point, it's nobody's win-loss record. It's Fernando Tatis Jr. It's what happened with Tatis maybe popping his shoulder out, and then it popped back in, and there could be some really ripped-apart I'm not a doctor. If we got anybody watching on Facebook, let me know what the Tatis injury really means. But when that shoulder went back out, and he's had shoulder problems before, and popped back in, and he's holding it, They just paid that dude $340 million.
You see the owner going, "Did we have insurance on
I know.
that?"
Can we get out of that deal?
Yeah.
Can we back out of that deal?
What do you think his trade might be come July 31st?
Yeah. Can we get out of this?
Yeah.
Maybe not. So to me, that's like the biggest story of baseball so far. Again, it's nice that it's warm. It's nice that, you get to, well, it's not warm if you're watching in Detroit. Miguel Cabrera slid into second base on opening day because he didn't know if he hit a home run because he did hit a homer, but there was so much snow falling that he couldn't tell.
That reminds me of my daughters when they would play softball, and you could tell whose heads were in the game and whose wasn't. But he had a better excuse, obviously, the weather. But some people are just like not completely mentally there yet, even the players.
Let me tell you my biggest fear for when my 3 babies get older.
What's that?
That they all want to play in sports that have me sitting outside in cold weather. I don't want them to play soccer in October. That sounds horrible. It sounds terrible.
I can raise my hand and say I've done that.
I don't think my son is ever going to be a football player. Look at me. Do I look like the kind of guy that produces a football body?
I don't know. I don't know what the rest of the family looks like.
No.
No. Let me
so
ask
I don't
you
think
this.
I have to worry about that. Basketball's indoors, whatever. But I fear sitting outside in a 42-degree rain while the kids are playing soccer, and I got an umbrella. I'm holding it over my wife, Lee, and we're just rooting on. We got one kid probably isn't playing. He's reading his book.
Right. Picking dandelions. I had a daughter that picked dandelions.
Exactly.
And I remember getting a phone call one time from my brother. "Hey, did you see the Vikings score?" No,
I did not.
No, I didn't. And he goes, and then I realized my car was 25 yards from the field, and I could still see everything.
So you sat in the car listening to the Viking game, watching soccer.
Is that okay?
I can't tell anyone how to parent.
I'm just... No, my kids saw me.
You were there.
Saw me. I
You
was
were there. Yeah.
My wife, who could care less about sports, was there.
See?
Right. Somebody was there representing.
It's not about how close I am to you. It's can I see you?
Right.
I'm there in spirit. I get it. A couple other newsworthy headlines locally here in Des Moines. Joe Yesufu picked Kansas.
Right.
What a perfect system for him to go to. Gets up and down. Bill Self loves to score in the 80s. Yesufu leaves Drake, enters the transfer portal. He goes to Kansas. Jack Nungy picks Xavier. I can't tell you anything about Xavier other than the Musketeers. I got it. That's all I got.
That's all you got.
That's it. So that was the week that was, the weekend that is. Lots of baseball going on. We got Drake football on 1350 ESPN tomorrow, 10:30 for the pregame. We got Cubs and Pirates tomorrow and on Sunday. And, of course, the Masters, which we are going to discuss why JD hates America. He is un-American with this take coming your way. JD hates America. We'll tell you why coming up next.
You're listening to Wickett's World on Des Moines 1350 ESPN. Keep more bread.
Back on 1350 ESPN. This is Wickett's World here on ESPN Des Moines. I have just been alerted, JD, for the bracket contest we had at ESPNDesMoines.com.
Yeah.
We did not win.
Okay. That's not a surprise.
You were tied for 82nd.
Mm-hmm.
I was tied for 72nd. I don't know how many
How did
entries
we get
had.
so high up the chart, though? I mean, I really thought I was down in the hundreds.
That's better than I thought we would have. That's better than I would have guessed.
Right?
Yeah, so there you go. That's the update. Coming up, 4:45, I will have a pretty big announcement. I want you
Is there
to hear.
anybody coming in to help with the
Maybe.
announcement?
Maybe.
Or is there just...
If I can get her out of her office.
All right, that's the thing.
Can you please put me in a Masters mood? Oh, there we go.
You mean, gotta be talking real
Go.
soft right now.
If you don't want to know the scores right now, you may want to turn down your radio, but this is your leaderboard. Justin Rose is 7 under. He was even today. He was your leader yesterday at 7 under. And then it gets to a bunch of guys I've never heard of.
Again.
This is the problem. This is my problem when I started doing some Masters prep.
Mm-hmm. Well, you had to do that for TV today.
Will Zalatoris or Zalatoris?
Don't ask me. I'm sorry.
He's a stroke back. He shot 4 under today.
kind of like Jay-Z. We just called him Will Z.
That works.
Yeah.
Brian Harmon. He was 2 under today, -5. Jordan Spieth played well today. Good to see him back.
Oh, I was going to say, I know that name.
Who else have I ever heard of on this? Again, I am not the biggest golf aficionado in the world. I was on Channel 13 WHO this morning during Hello, Iowa, because they wanted someone to talk about the Masters. And I said, sure, I'd love to do that.
Why not?
Why are you picking me?
You bring your one club and a can of beer?
I did not. I
Okay.
should have. That would have been. That's why if you're watching the YouTube feed or the Facebook or Periscope or whatever, you're like, why is Wickett actually not in a Nirvana t-shirt? Or why is he not in some Taylor Swift t-shirt? This is my TV look. This is what I got going on. This is as dressed up as I get.
You actually have a Taylor Swift t-shirt?
I have 5.
I didn't know you were a T-Swift
Oh,
fan.
I'm a Swiftie.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
All right. You can have that.
I met her.
Fine.
Met her twice.
So have I.
My voice cracked when I met her. How are you?
That's great.
I don't love watching golf on TV. I love watching the majors on TV. You're never going to find me watching the John Deere Classic or the Phoenix Open or the Buick Open or whatever, but I will watch the majors, the British, the PGA, the U.S. Open, and the Masters. You can leave the music.
Okay, I didn't know if
this
you- I
music,
didn't
no,
know
the
if
whole
you-
time.
okay.
It's Masters weekend.
All right, so
I actually feel like I
gotta
should have
stand
this
in the
in my.
I'll have you know that this is 1 hour of beautiful music like this.
I feel like I should have this in my ear the whole weekend. Oh, there you go. The azaleas, the Hogan Bridge.
Carson
The
Jackson
Masters.
is on the approach right now with his 9. I don't know why he's using a 9-iron.
But if you go to ESPNDesMoines.com, JD has put up a blog in the Wickett's World page, which we invite JD to do often. But I'd like you to tell people why it is, JD, that you have no soul.
I know this is not really American, all right? But I just really feel if you're a non-golfer or a non-golf fan, what really brings you to the Masters? It's
Turn
lack-
this music up. That's it right there.
If you say so.
Yeah.
My blog is all about the golf is missing something.
What do you mean?
The Masters is lacking something. All right. The NBA, they have a dunk contest, a 3-point tournament. They've got all that cool stuff where the athleticism is showing. NHL is high-paced, slap shots, hard checking, and fights, even though they're not legal, but they still fight. Yeah. And then Major League Baseball has the All-Star Game and the Home Run Derby. All right. I'm missing something here. Oh, NFL has this
Pro Bowl.
The
Pro Bowl's
Bowl.
a joke.
It is.
Pro Bowl is a total joke.
Right, but they've got the Super Bowl with the halftime show
So what you're
and
saying?
the commercials.
So there's, if you're not in it for the stake, which is the golf, which
Right.
is the 4 days at Augusta, what you're saying is, what the Masters is missing is some sizzle. Because you're there for the All-Star game. You know, the sizzle is the home run derby.
Yeah.
The sizzle is the three-point shootout.
The big names are participating in something, you know?
They have the par 3 shootout. The Masters has a par 3.
I wrote that in the blog. I said, I get that. And I talked to Dan Tooker about that, and he goes, don't forget about the par 3
They
tournament.
do have the par 3.
Right. I said, no, I get it. I said, I totally get it. All right. But to me, I don't care. I want something better than that.
Are you not a big golf fan?
I mean, if I'm out hacking and having a beer in my hand, I'm okay.
See, that's my kind of golf.
Right.
That's my golf fandom there, too.
Right. Because then I don't have to worry about competing. I'm just hacking. And I think they need to find something for the hacker in everybody.
Now, I don't know. There has to be a beer hole at Augusta, right?
Yeah, we could call it the 19th hole, and it could be the hacker hole, where they get a choice of one club. Okay, this just came to me. This is brilliant.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
I wish I would have thought of this earlier. I'd have it on the blog. All right.
You still can go back and edit it.
The hacker hole. The 19th hole is the hacker hole.
There are golf. See, maybe the Masters isn't for you because they're not guests, they're patrons.
Sure.
You know, golf is an uppity sport.
Right. I mean, I'm not taking
But the
anybody.
Masters, raises the level of the uppityness.
Yeah, I get it. Okay. I mean, I know people who go down and rent houses down there so they could be there.
I would love to do that.
Yeah.
But you need to watch the Phoenix Open. You need to watch the Buick Open.
Why?
Or you need to go to these events, all right? Which is another conversation. When I was working at a radio station in Ann Arbor, Michigan, I'm from Detroit, and the Buick Open used to, I don't even know if it's a regular event anymore because Buick and dollars and whatever. But there were stories of guys that would hop the fence with a keg of beer, bury it at the 17th hole, which is this short downhill par 3 where there's big stands, and they would bury the keg underneath in the ground, get there at 8 a.m., park next to it, unearth the keg of beer, and sit there and get tanked all day as pros hit into this like 142-yard par 3. That happens everywhere. The Phoenix Open is rowdy like that. Golf events here in Iowa are rowdy like that.
I get it, but how do you highlight something like that to where the non-fan is going to watch it?
Well,
I'd watch that.
What the Masters is lacking this year is the GOAT.
Oh,
They're missing Tiger Woods.
They really are.
Tiger is that extra, it's in the air, that extra flavor. People are missing Tiger Woods.
Right. Before Tiger, who was it? See?
No, that's it.
Right.
Like, golf was not meant for the way what Tiger did. My friend Doug Russell up in Milwaukee said it was the Tigerization of golf, which brought a ton of different looking people to play golf.
Right.
Not just old fat white guys.
Right.
Right. So now
the Golden Bear.
Everybody else wants to play golf, which is wonderful. I think that's one of the great things Tiger did was seemingly open the door for everyone in the world to play golf. It also brought the idea of athleticism to golf.
Right.
Again, look at Dustin Johnson. Look at Zach Johnson from Iowa. Look at Dustin Johnson. Look at Jordan Spieth. Look at Brooks Koepka. Look at, who's the dude that's hitting the ball a million miles?
Is that the British guy?
No.
The guy from Britain.
No.
Or was he Australian?
If you look at it, Bubba Watson hits the ball a ton. He's an athletic guy. I can't think of the dude's name. He was like ranked 191st in the world a couple of years ago. He put on 50 pounds
John
or something along those lines.
John Daly?
No.
No, that's been before then.
That is a big old fat white guy who just had incredible talent.
Yeah, he did. And he had an incredible way of ruining it.
Yeah. Yeah. Bryson DeChambeau.
Right.
That dude. He was ranked in the hundreds, and all of a sudden, you watch him swing, it looks like his spine is going to pop out of his back. It is ridiculous how far these guys, how athletic these guys are to hit the golf ball, but there is no Tiger right now. There's not that because Tiger magic, whenever you would see Tiger all of a sudden, like on 11, he would chip in from behind a tree, one leg, in the air because he has to.
Right.
Greatest recovery golfer of all time. But then it was like, oh, what's he going to do next and next and next? And make that charge, on a Saturday to get atop the leaderboard. You don't have a threat of that.
No.
I'm not like, man,
And
can't wait to see what Justin Rose does.
And I'm not trying to take away from the athletes that play the game. They hurt their backs. Their legs are, they work hard too. I mean, it's definitely an athletic sport. I'm not trying to take away from who's playing.
I am.
Okay.
I am. Bunch of old fat white guys played in the 60s and 70s and 80s. Tiger changed everything.
Yeah, he did. But it was fun in the 60s, 70s, and 80s because you did have some pretty good characters of the game. Right now, you don't have Tiger, but where are the characters in the game?
I would say that's a fair point. There aren't a lot of... I mean, DeChambeau is a character because of his incredible swing and his ability to hit the ball a serious distance.
Right.
But Dustin Johnson's not fun.
No. You had...
Bubba Watson can be, but he's a jerk.
You had Jack... Yeah.
He's a jerk.
Jack Nicklaus.
You Fuzzy Zeller, who was a racist person, but he was entertaining racist.
Right.
We learned that when Tiger won.
Yeah. And then...
Gigi Rodriguez was fun.
Right. And I'm missing somebody. Did I say Arnold Palmer
Arnold
already?
Palmer was
right.
fun.
So, I mean, you can say some names in golf, and you think legendary.
Yeah.
I get it.
Fred Couples.
There you go.
You
Tom Watson.
Greg Norman.
Tom Watson was like the everyday average guy-looking dude who would win.
It's my dad's favorite golfer of all time.
Oh, like when he had that chip in and he runs up on the green as it goes in and he's, clenching his fist.
Good job.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, and then everybody's, that's what I think of when I think of golf. But it's lacking something, Mike. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think you're ever going to find what you think golf is lacking.
It lacks some sort of entertainment feature to me. That's, right now, I have no reason to watch the Masters until the final day to see if there's a playoff or who's going to win.
I understand that. I do. I get it. I mean, I've watched it sparingly. It's been on.
Yeah.
I don't rush home to watch it. Tomorrow and Sunday are different. Golf is great for a perfect Saturday afternoon nap.
Need I remind you that WrestleMania is this weekend, Saturday and Sunday?
It's 2 days?
It's 2 days because of COVID. They did a two-day thing.
Is it the same show?
No. It's two different events, apparently.
This is the most you've ever smiled on this show right now.
I'm laughing because I'm like, here I am telling everybody about WrestleMania, and you got the Masters going on, which, like you said, it's all American. It's fantastic. It's, at baseball and apple pie.
So wait a minute.
I get it.
Kill the Masters music for me.
All right.
So you can't get into golf now because it's not quite the way it was back in the day.
Right.
But you're excited for WrestleMania in 2021.
I was just saying I knew it was coming.
Sucks right now.
It does suck. It's not what it used to be.
Sucks. It's not what it was 10 years ago.
Listen to these speaking of two old white guys.
Right? No, but wrestling, WWE has zero juice as compared to what it used to be.
No, absolutely not. They're all acting now.
I mean, that's fine, but it's just the writing in all of this, the storylines, nothing. When was the last time anything was fresh? I mean, they kept bringing the Undertaker's ass back to WrestleMania every year, and he finally retired. When they killed the Streak, that was a terrible move.
They're trying. Yep. And guess what? Apparently, they're supposed to be bringing Triple H back.
How old is Triple H now? 90?
He's your age for sure.
He's got to be older than I am. I turned 40 in 2 weeks.
Happy birthday if I forget.
Thank you.
Yeah. No,
Triple
I'll
H.
probably see it on social
Triple
media.
H is way older than I am. He's
Is he?
51.
Oh, no kidding.
He'll be 52 in July.
Okay, so he's older than me.
Yeah.
Wow.
See, you're younger than Triple H.
Yes.
What's a good day?
Yes, it is a great day to be alive. He still looks better than me.
Good job. All right. So there we go. There's your Masters breakdown. Somehow we transitioned right into WrestleMania.
That just was purely just something I had to throw out there because somebody told me about it before I'd come in because he was.
Would you rather? Let me ask you this: if it was free, would you rather watch WrestleMania on Sunday or the Masters final round? But you have to watch all 5 hours of both. 5 hours of wrestling or 5 hours of golf.
I hate to say this, but I think I'd probably rather watch WrestleMania. I'm sorry.
Good Lord.
Is that your tisk
Go
point?
to break. Go press the button.
Phone lines are open. 515-244-1350.
1350 ESPN, ESPN Des Moines. I'm Mike Wickett. That's JD.
Yep.
This is Wickett's World. Coming up 4:45, so like 10 minutes from right now. Pretty big announcement to make. We will tell you all about it coming up very, very soon. So the NFL draft is coming up later this month. And I don't know, JD, do you get into draft rumors and mock drafts and all that kind of stuff?
Sometimes it all depends on if my team is desperate for something, and I want to see what chances they have at the top, the top pick at what they're looking for. But outside of that, I guess what I'm always looking for is who's going to be the biggest mover. What's going to be the biggest shakeup? There always seems to be one, if not more, than two to three shakeups in the draft where somebody trades out and it's just like a surprise thing. I remember one year New England traded up, and I was like, "Whoa!" They didn't need to, but they did.
The most boring part of this draft is the first pick. Everybody knows it's going to be Trevor Lawrence going to Jacksonville.
Right.
Everybody knows that. The Jets are sitting there at number 2. And if you're a New York Jet fan, listen, I don't know if Sam Darnold is no good. But they traded him to Carolina. So the idea is that it's going to be either Justin Fields out of Ohio State or Zach Wilson out of BYU.
Very good quarterbacks.
Both of them have big numbers. Zach Wilson, if you look, they're okay. So you were asking me during the commercial break, what team is going to be the biggest mover and shaker and move up? And I think it's going to be Denver. I don't think Denver is thrilled with Drew Lock.
Which I don't get.
I don't either. It's been 2 years. He's played in 18 games, had a little injury history. Okay. He's thrown 23 touchdowns to 18 interceptions. They got a lot of weapons in Denver. He should be better at this point.
Here's what I had to say about that. How long did it take Peyton Manning? I can remember them having a thing with Peyton Manning his first 2 years in the league, if not even his first.
I think he threw more picks than touchdowns that first year.
First year. And then his second year is a little bit better, and then the third year is when he really broke into it. All right? Give Drew a chance. I mean, this COVID year really, you can't count the COVID year for a normal year. My thought. I mean, you may disagree.
Peyton Manning back in 1998 threw 26 touchdowns and 28 interceptions.
See?
So yeah, but I think when you drafted Peyton Manning, you knew you were getting your franchise quarterback. Plus, back in the 90s, kids, if you're listening, back in the 90s, we actually gave quarterbacks time. You didn't start year 1, and if you were a bust by week 5 of your second season, they pulled the plug on you.
Right.
That doesn't happen anymore. I think a lot of it has to do with the financial structure of the NFL, where the Chiefs are trying to strike while they haven't. I mean, they're going to owe Mahomes the most money in the history of the NFL. But the Chiefs, just like the Bills with Josh Allen and the Browns with Baker Mayfield and all these teams with young quarterbacks, they're trying to strike before they have to pay $35 million a year to their quarterback.
Absolutely.
Or $40 million a year if you're Dak Prescott or whatever that ridiculous contract was. Back then, I mean, quarterbacks weren't making the ridiculous Aaron Rodgers money that guys make in the NFL right now.
And they're like number 10 in the league, number 9 in the league.
So you had time.
Right.
They knew Peyton Manning was going to be great. You also gave the guys in the 90s had more time to prove themselves. Let's see. What was year 2? 26 to 15 touchdown to interception ratio.
So again, just a little bit better. He wasn't
much better.
Great. Yeah.
Much better.
I mean, he wasn't blowing the doors off.
Not
though.
yet.
Yeah.
But you could see it.
Right.
I don't know if you see that with Drew Lock. But
Different year.
That's the team that people are talking about to move up and grab a quarterback. If you look at the numbers for Drew Lock versus good teams in in college football versus his numbers against bad teams, he blew up bad teams. When he played Florida, when he played Georgia, Drew Lock wasn't so great. Same thing goes for this kid out of BYU. Zach Wilson's numbers against the bottom of his conference, tremendous. Kid puts on a show. When he plays Cal, when he plays other good teams, his numbers aren't great. So you have to take that into account. Was he lighting up? I mean, he can make some impressive throws. You see any of his pro day? Some ridiculous rollout, spin, come back, throw to a receiver, going the other way. Like, he looks the part.
Yep.
But can he do anything in the NFL when when good defenses are bearing down on him? And then there's controversy about Justin Fields. Like, Justin Fields stunk in the Big Ten championship game against Northwestern. But that game against Clemson, when he took that shot, and I thought his hip exploded, or I thought ribs were broken and lungs were punctured, I couldn't believe they put him back in the football game. I was shocked.
That was the one hit that I saw. I was in a four-wheeler accident last summer, and I had those ribs broken, clavicle, all that stuff. I thought the same thing you did.
Yeah.
How does he get back up from that? I didn't.
I mean, I hurt, and I was sitting on the ground in my basement watching it, and I'm like,
right?
Oh, I kind of felt that hit. I really did. That kind of hurts.
That's a good old-fashioned hard football hit.
Yeah, really is. Yeah. But Fields' numbers, you mentioned the COVID year, 22-6 touchdown to interception ratio. And I know people will look at stats and pick and choose their favorite ones, but that's the one I kind of go with. He was 41-3 the last full college football season. 41 touchdowns to 3 picks the previous year.
Right.
I mean, I'm not necessarily a guy who believes Ohio State quarterbacks ever will perform in the NFL, but if there's a guy to do it, I think it's Fields. I think that's the guy. He may go 2 to the Jets. I've got one mock draft in front of me from CBS that's got Fields going to the Jets, Zach Wilson to the Niners. I have no idea what that means for Jimmy Garoppolo. Maybe he sits for a year. Mm-hmm. See, that's the difference, too. Back in the day, kids, if you drafted a rookie, you could sit that rookie for 2 or 3 years. Now, because, again, it goes back to the structure.
A la Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron sat for 3 seasons. But now with the salary structure the way it is, if you don't play that, if you don't know what you've got in 3 years, like with Rodgers, you don't know what you've got in Jordan Love in 3 years, what do you do with him? Was that first-round pick a waste? Are you going to pick up the fifth-year option for a guy who's never started a game? That's it's such a puzzle that these teams, these GMs have to put together, and that's why it's so imperative. If you can win on a rookie quarterback's contract, like the Chiefs did with Mahomes, they were paying him like $10. Yeah. And he won the Super Bowl and the MVP. If you can win that way, you can spend elsewhere. You can spend money on Tyreek Hill. You can spend money on Travis Kelce.
And still reward your quarterback.
Exactly. You can trade for Frank Clark and give him a massive contract from Seattle. You can bring in Tyrann Mathieu. That's the way the Chiefs built around Mahomes. That's what the trouble is right now for, say, the Green Bay Packers. They don't have any cap room whatsoever. They can't do anything. Next year, they're an even worse salary cap hell. The Saints were the same way this year. Tremendous salary cap hell. That's why all these teams are trying to figure out ways to win in the first couple of years. And that's why whether it's Lawrence, Fields, Wilson, the kid from North Dakota State, Trey Lance, who's going to be the guy that can pick up the NFL quick, goes to the right system, can put numbers up, and win football games at a young age. That's what makes this draft so impressive and so interesting to me is there are a lot of quarterback names and a lot of teams who need quarterbacks. That's the state of the NFL, though. You either have your quarterback for the next 10 years or you have no idea what you're doing at quarterback for the next 3. That's kind of the way it feels like.
Now, here's my question to you. Do you see a surprise pick in the NFL draft where you go, whoa, I never saw that one coming?
No, because I don't know enough about the I don't know enough. There's always one when you're like, oh, that guy projected 42nd and went 9th. Right. But I don't know enough about where these guys are, where they're at to tell you, listen, if Mac Jones goes 2, if the quarterback from Alabama goes 2, that's a surprise. But it wouldn't surprise me if the first 4 picks were quarterbacks. Lawrence goes 1, Jets take a quarterback, Niners take a quarterback, Falcons take a quarterback to sit behind Matt Ryan for a year or 2. Bengals won't because they've got Burrow. That's not happening. Dolphins should be sold on Tua, but you keep hearing people wondering if Tua is the right answer.
And is Burrow going to come back strong like he was?
Yeah.
There's a lot of big. That's a big injury he just suffered his first year in the league.
Lions are there at 7. They just traded away Stafford for Jared Goff. You get somebody to sit behind Goff for a year or 2 with this new system, this new coach, this new regime there in Detroit. What I'm looking at right now has Carolina taking Trey Lance. That if you traded for Sam Darnold and you draft a quarterback, What does that tell you about your faith in Sam Darnold, who you gave up a lot of draft capital for? Just get the ball to Christian McCaffrey and get out of the way.
Running games do work. I don't care what anybody says. It's not pretty.
Round 1, the 9th pick, Denver, they could go quarterback as well. I mean, you're looking at 7 teams in the top 9 that potentially could go quarterback. You just don't. I mean, you could see 5 quarterbacks in the first 9 picks. How crazy is that?
I still think Minnesota goes quarterback in the first round. If not, then the second round for sure.
They're picking at what?
14.
14?
Yeah, and the rumor has it they're trying to move up.
That would be a surprise if they moved up. Boy, would Viking fans like that if they moved? Let's say they move up and draft Mac Jones. Mm-hmm. Would you, as a Viking fan, as the Viking fan here on the show on 1350, would you be fine with Mac Jones, even if it's at 14?
I think I would.
Do you want Mac Jones to play anytime soon?
It doesn't matter. I just want to know that we have something sitting there for once.
Maybe. And it's not Tavares Jackson.
No.
Or it's not whoever.
Christian Ponder.
They moved up to grab Ponder. They moved up to grab Christian Ponder.
That's where you took you took the parentheses off the slick when it came to Rick Spielman.
I was doing a draft show in Milwaukee when they drafted Ponder. I looked at my co-host, and we just high-fived. Coming up, I have a pretty big announcement to tell you. We will do that next.
Follow us on Twitter at
Facebook page.
So we got about 4 minutes left here during Wickett's World here on a Friday on 1350 ESPN. And I've been sitting on something for a little while here and just trying to get all the I's dotted and T's crossed, JD.
Basically, a wallet.
Yeah, well, had to get things kind of settled here. A couple of months ago, there was over on the rock station, Laser 103.3 here in the building, there was a morning show host who decided he didn't want to work here anymore. Mm-hmm. So he decided to quit. And at that time, I was going to be kind of a featured bit part on the program with Heather and Fish decided he didn't want to work here. And then that happened. And so I started going in on the show and helping out Heather, who's a wonderful woman. And we just kind of started going back and forth. And I would come in twice a week or 3 times a week or whatever, just for an hour. And to make a long story short, because this is a conversation I think that I'm going to have to put into a very long podcast, it kind of happened at the right time. Because after some negotiation and auditioning and fancy dinners.
And that wasn't you.
No, I mean, it's...
You didn't get those.
No, I did.
Oh, you did?
I got one.
You got one?
I got
right
a fancy
then.
dinner because then I became a candidate. And today, I accepted an offer to host mornings over on Laser 103.3 right down the hall here, which I am... It's crazy because when I first got into radio, I was in Detroit, and I turned down an internship at a rock station. And I wound up interning at a sports station and a rock station in Ann Arbor. And then that led to my sports talk radio career kind of taking flight.
Sure.
And then I went to Milwaukee, and then I went down into news talk radio in Kansas City. And it's almost like it has come full circle. Mm-hmm. That now I am kind of going back to where I was initially thought I was going to be, because I went to a broadcast school and I thought I was going to be a DJ. Like, that's the reason I got into radio. I listened to a music radio station growing up that I would record the morning show, and then I would play it when I got home from school, and I wanted to be a DJ. And it just wound up going a different direction. I am thrilled to announce that I'm going to be doing mornings on Laser 103.3, a nationally recognized rock station all across the country. I need to thank a million people, but the big three are our general manager, Lance Richard, the program director, Andy Hall, and Heather Lee, who is going to be my new work wife.
Right.
So I have the home wife and the work wife going, interacting, something along those lines.
Yeah.
But I also want to let people know, because people are like, well, what about this show? What about 1350? This show is going to move to noon on Fridays and then hopefully expand so my day doesn't go like, I'm in the building at 5 a.m. and I'm here till 5 p.m. We're going to try to work everything out. But, that's my big news. I'm the new, less attractive half of Heather and Wickett over on Laser 103.3.
I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
I couldn't be more thrilled for you.
Thank you.
And I couldn't say this more honestly. They got the right guy.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that very, very much.
When you're looking and you're bringing people in from all over the country to try and do this show, and you've got somebody sitting right here. I mean, you can be honest because I brought it up to you. Are you looking at this job, Mike?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. And
I
wasn't.
asked you.
I
asked
wasn't
you.
at the time when JD
Right.
asked me, like,
I said, why not? You sound great.
I wasn't really, I was just kind of helping,
Right.
and then things just kind of, one thing led to another, and here we go. So I don't even know my exact start date. We're going to roll this out.
Sure.
But I signed my contract today, and I'm very much looking forward to.
That was all those cameras and video
Yeah,
teams that
that's-
were in here.
yeah,
and
yeah, that was the
all
press
stuff.
conference. Yeah, that
I was
was
wondering
it.
what that was. I thought maybe like a celebrity was
Yeah,
there or something.
certainly not. So that's the big news. Mornings
Okay.
on Laser 103.3. I don't really know when it starts, but if you follow me on Twitter at Mike Wickett or on social media on Facebook or Instagram, I'm going to litter your timeline with promotion and more cool stuff. So, and we'll still have a lot of fun here on 1350. So, JD, I think we're off next week because of Cubs baseball. We'll see.
There was something that said 5 o'clock after the game.
Those games seem to go a little longer than we had planned.
Right.
But that is going to do it. Thanks so much for listening, for watching. JD, have yourself a good weekend.
You too now.
Who's your pick to win the Masters?
Who's the guy that's in the lead? Right? Justin Rose.
For JD, I'm Mike Wickett. Thanks so much for listening to Wickett's World here on 1350 ESPN Des Moines.
Keep more bread in your